Hey everybody, I'm back with another DIY day. Today I am installing a new light switch and I wanted to really quickly explain how they function in order for you to better understand why you wire them the way you do. So the best way to think about electricity is like water in a tube. You're getting pressure being pushed in one way and the water just wants to go through the path of least resistance. If you put stops in that tube, the water will stop flowing, and that's essentially what a light switch is. You have these two copper connections here. One, it doesn't really matter what order it goes in. Basically, this switch here acts as a stopper, and it'll stop the current from continuing down the line, or turn it on. It'll allow the current to continue to flow through the line. So you will do is there will be a hot line coming into the light switch, which is typically a black wire, and then out the other end that would go to your light source. So essentially all you're doing is you're just breaking the current going through the line. They're just really simple circuit breakers essentially. And then on the opposite side here, you will see a green nut, and that is for your ground wire. And that is for safety reasons. Essentially, if you could get two hot wires to touch one another by accident, and typically this can happen when metal touches each other and it gets kind of complicated. It essentially prevents the electricity from arcing, and by doing that, it prevents fires. So really important. These became really popular, or I think code, in like the 70s. So every modern home should have ground wires in them. So what we're doing today is I'm going to replace this older beige one to white so that they look the same, and then I'll put a cover on them and you won't even know. All right, before I touch this, rule number one with electricity is always safe it prior to working on it. So I'm going to go to my panel here and I'm going to kill the breaker to that room so that I don't electrocute my... All right, now I'm safed. I got a light, and we're going to remove this light switch. I'm going to skip through here, but, lefty loosey, righty tighty. All right, let's pull this switch out, and oh, what is this? What do we have here? We have our two connectors here, but one is black and one is white. TJ, I thought you said that the hot wires would be black, and yes, they should be black, but I'm going to explain what we're seeing here. Typically, what you find in a bundle of wires in a house is a white common or neutral. You'd find a unshielded copper line, and you'd have one black hot line. Now, really, these all kind of operate the same way. They're just color-coded so that us humans know typically how the house is wired. And what's happening here is the people that wired this house would send current through the same bundle, which is, it's pretty common nowadays, but not how a lot of electricians still like to wire. So basically what's happening here is, rather than the blacks just connecting to another black line going to the light, the electricity is coming from the black wire through the switch and then going back down through the white, and that white wire is now hot, and that white wire now runs to my lights. So that's where it gets confusing, because then on the other end you have a white wire that's hot, and a lot of people, do-it-yourselfers, don't label them properly, and people can get hurt. So just watch out for this. That's typically what happens. That way they didn't have to run another line through the box. So anyways, that's why it's wired like this. So we have to treat them both like hots. All right, now to actually disassemble this and wire in our new switch. All right, I'm going to break my cardinal rule of electrical work here by turning the current back on, because I wanted to demonstrate to you how a switch really works. All it's really doing is just creating a bridge between the two copper lines. So if these touch, my lights turn on. When they pull apart, my lights turn off. But then, and this is where it gets really, I'm not going to do it. Basically, if this then black wire would touch a copper, you'd see a huge spark and it would blow the breaker. We're not going to do that because that's a fire hazard, but that's really all a switch does. Something I recommend doing is putting a little hook in the wire. You can easily do this with a pair of pliers. That way the hook can hook around the screw, and you want it to hook in the righty direction essentially. So as you tighten it and twist it to the right, the copper won't come out and come out from around the screw. So when you tighten it up, boom, 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 it won't fall out. All right, guys, that's it. Just screwed it in, and I can put my faceplate on, turn the power on, and it works. So hopefully you learned something, and if you're not comfortable working with electricity, don't do it. It's not worth the risk. But it's fairly simple once you understand how to protect yourself. But, installing a 68-cent light switch probably would have cost me $50 to $100 to have an electrician come in and just do that job that took me not even 10 minutes. So maybe it saves you a couple bucks and you'll get what you need. All right, have a great day. Happy Sunday.